fish.
Father, what is it?
It's an Addams. He has my father's eyes.
Gomez, take those out of his mouth. He's an adorable little baby.
Fine. Rub it in.
Children, why do you hate the baby?
Addams Family is back with Addams Family Values. All right. So if you listen to my previous one where I talked about the first one, this one I think is better. And yeah, I think it's better. I think it's funnier. And yeah, I like it. I like it a lot more than the first one. Like I said with the first one, I still thoroughly like it. It's just, I just like this one better. So this one, the entire family's together, and Morticia has another Addams baby, and then it requires them to hire a nanny, and the nanny is played by Joan Cusack, who is secretly a murderer who seeks out rich men, marries them for their money, and then kills them after taking all their financial. And she's there to go for Uncle Fester. We also have a side plot where in order to get rid of Wednesday and Pugsley, who are incredibly suspicious, and as they should be, they get sent off to summer camp. And I mean, to be honest, it's funny just because it feels very like a fish out of water type story for them. But me personally, I never got into camp, so I'd be in their boat where I'd be freaking out over stuff. Just the part where they start freaking out because they start singing Kumbaya. It's just funny to me, but I'd be like, yeah, I need to get out of here. I never liked camp. It was too much. I hated it. So then the camp counselors pretty much are played by, I'm not gonna remember names. It was Peter McNichol, who was in Ghostbusters 2, and I forget her name, but she was one of the family members in a movie called The Ref. And if you've never seen that movie, it is a fantastic Christmas movie about relationship problems. And one line from her in that movie that I love quoting all the time because it's just so funny is a scene where her kids come from the living room and they're like, the TV's out, what are we going to do all night? And then her response is, celebrate the birth of Christ. And every time I watch that movie, I just laugh because one, it's just hilarious, and two, it's just that line. It's just so funny. But that's just a hilarious movie. So if you have not seen The Ref, absolutely watch it. It's fantastic. It's a great movie to watch around the holiday season. I try to watch it every holiday just because it's a staple for me. But besides the point. So I watched this movie more than the first one growing up, and I said with the first movie, the 90s version of Addams Family was the version I grew up watching, or this version specifically. So Julia as Gomez, Huston as Morticia, Lloyd as Uncle Fester, Ricci as Wednesday. I grew up watching this version. It wasn't until years and years later when they decided to do it again, but in CG animated, and just looks ugly. And then we got the Wednesday series for Netflix. So this was the version that I grew up watching. And I watched this one. I watched the second one more times than the first one. And I still crack up at a lot of scenes, especially it's hard to say who my favorite character was in the first one, but honestly, in this one, if I had to give it to dialogue alone, it would have to go to Wednesday, just because just like all of her interactions, it's just dialogue is just so well written. Like there's this there's a scene where they're in camp and they're trying out a bow and arrow thing, and then Pugsley shoots it up into the sky, and then it hits an American bald eagle, and they're like, "Oh my god, but aren't they extinct?" And then she just goes, "They are now." And every time I just crack up at that because it's just so funny. But it's her dialogue is just fantastic. Like from that scene to um, explaining how her parents conceived the baby is just so funny. After they hear another kid say that it was a stork, and she's just plain simple like they had sex. To like one of my favorite parts is when they're interviewing the people trying out to be the nannies. It's just each one is just so funny. So like where's the baby? Which part? It's so funny and clever the way they do it, and it makes me laugh every time. Like with the first one, I was laughing a lot during it, but this one I laughed more times. And yeah, it was just so fun, and every time I watch it. But also, Joanne Cusack's portrayal as the villain is just so funny to me. um, because, like she just embraces exactly what is going on, and it works. Like she embraces that. Okay, it's an Addams Family movie. I get it. That my character is supposed to be like super crazy but also funny at the same time. I mean, the fact that she explains like right before killing somebody her life story through slides, and then she does, and that she killed her parents because they got her the wrong Barbie. She wanted a ballerina Barbie, but they got her a Malibu one, and yeah, the horror. Um, and that she was very graceful and delicate. And, and the fact that I'm reading off so many lines from it should probably indicate how much I actually like the movie. But that's what I mean. Like everyone, I love how everyone committed, and they were just like, "Oh, let's just do it. Let's just go." And yeah, it's so fun. I love it. It's typically one that um I kind of I don't forget is there, but it's one of those ones where it's like if it's on and I just look at the clock and I go like, yeah, I can postpone everything else just to watch this, and I will do that. So it's one of those movies where it's like if it's on, I'll look at the clock and just go like, yeah, I can postpone that. Yeah, work can wait. Yeah, I don't need to go into work until like another 2 hours. I can tell them I'm late. Yeah, I can tell them I fell asleep. But in actuality, like, no, I'm just watching a movie. That just shows how responsible I am. But it's one of those movies. So I really really like this movie. I as much as I like it, um, I don't think it gets an amazing, but it does get a very very high grade. Like I said, I like this one more. I know a lot of people that think that they still like the first one. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's you, but me personally, I think Values is funnier. It especially like some of the interactions with the like they have like a whole side plot with the baby, and it's so funny how they start freaking out, going like, oh, like that he could be a lawyer, orthodontist, or possibly the president, and they're just all freaking out over that. I'm just like, uh, yeah, I'm freaking out too. I'm laughing, but I'd be freaking out too. But it's so funny. And every time I watch this movie, I've seen it so many times. I still crack up at a lot of scenes, and it's so much fun. And yeah, it's one of those movies where it's just like, I can skip the first one, but this one is just like, no. If I'm just sitting flipping through channels, or I just feel like watching it, I'll look at the time and go like, yeah, everything else can just be on the back burner because I want to watch this. It's one of those films.
Why do you hate the baby?
We don't hate him. We just want to play with him, especially his head.
You'll meet someone very special. Someone who won't press charges.